Hello and welcome back to CrankyCast. So we just saved this merchant's life, and he agreed to sell some stuff to us, I guess. I don't know if he has anything for sale yet. Oh, great. So what kind of money do we actually have? Bronze rings, copper rings. Looks like I have, what is this? Oh, camping supplies. So we have iron rings, bronze rings, and copper rings. We only have 66 copper rings, so it's not a whole lot considering. I'm assuming, I don't know how many copper rings are in a bronze ring, but I'm assuming since there's 66 that there's 100 bronze rings and a 100 copper rings in a bronze ring. That's what I'm guessing. I don't know if that's true or not. I could buy a potion of protection, lesser healing potion, and camping supplies. It's about all I can afford right now. Rotten Ruin. I wonder if he'll buy anything from us. I don't know if I need this stuff yet, though. I don't think so. Let's see what happens. He'll give me 1 bronze ring and 40 copper rings for this stuff. All right. All right, let's continue on. Okay, that means go. Where was I headed now? Was I headed to this camp here? Who do we have here? Step closer and present yourself. The gate guard holds up a warning hand. Go no further. You approach disfavored ground. State your business. I am Kaladin, Fatebinder of Tunon. I bring words from Kairos, words for your commander's ears. Understood. His posture relaxes, his weapon lowering. On behalf of the disfavored, I welcome you into our camp. The Archons have gathered in the war tent. Head straight through the gate. All right, what do we got in here? A guy named Pentabor. Girl named Rona. Pentabor, hail to you, guardian of the law. The man dressed in merchant finery greets you with a smile. If you have a few excess rings weighing you down, best unburden yourself before battle. Whoa. You know that if the disfavored suffer a merchant in their camp, that must be a man selling only the finest provisions and armaments. He points to his collection of shields, rations, satchels, wineskins, and other sundries. Take a look and see if something interests you. Let me see your wares. Pentabor rubs his hands, eyes alight. Let's see if we can find something you might like. All right. I can afford a bronze spear. And if you remember from the beginning of this series, I said I'm going to try to use a spear whenever possible. Is it at least better? 7-11. Oh, that's a one-handed spear. I want a two-handed spear. I do not see any two-handed spears, unfortunately. So I'm going to pass for now, I think. Let's see what else we got going on in this camp. Looks like a little training ground here. A fighting pit kind of thing. Who's this guy? You can't make out the ironclad soldier's expression under the twisted helmet. He merely stares at you. Oh, I can take a bronze tower shield. That's not counted as loot. I mean, as stealing, is it? Nope. These spears are uniform in their quality craftsmanship. I want a spear. Alright, nothing I can do here, it seems. What else can I do? Ooh, who's this guy? Bitter Quip? Let's go see what Bitter Quip is. Bitter Quip. Glory to the voices of Narat. Projecting his salute for all to hear, the grinning blood chanter raps his staff against the ground as you approach. Fatebinder Kaladin, I presume? His smile quickly retreats, giving way to a sour scowl. I am Bitter Quip, and I am here as an emissary of the Scarlet Chorus. Bitter Quip looks at you impatiently. What can you tell me of the Scarlet Chorus? The chorus is the future of the tears. I feel only derision and pity for those who fear our inevitable ascension. Bitter Quip looks at you with a raised eyebrow. What in particular would you like to know? What is your role in the chorus? I am a blood chanter. My magic can turn the will of man and tide of battle. I have commanded for 3 years now, though being forced to keep an eye on the Disfavored is not the reward I had envisioned for my services thus far. How did you come to join the Scarlet Chorus? The doctrine of strength speaks to me, and I answered its call, as did some of my arcane peers. I took to the chorus almost instantly. Unlike most, I cried not for the life of comfort lost to me. My magic involves fear and terror, and I easily established my dominance over a pack in my early days in the chorus. If you're so curious about it all, Bitterquip smiles, lifting an eyebrow, perhaps you should visit our camp and see for yourself. Alright, he's not giving me anything any good information. Oh, we got like a prison over here. I guess this guy's the camp blacksmith. That's what I'm assuming. Nothing I can loot, at least nothing that's highlighting. Let's see what the blacksmith has to say. Isotanus curses the air as a blade of thin iron breaks in half beneath his hammer. Repairing weapons with scrap isn't exactly why I got into this craft, but our supplies are spent. He wipes the sweat from his brow and gets a better look at you. Why not forge bronze? Bronze will do in a pinch. Don't get me wrong. It can take a beating and get bent back into shape. Unlike this stubborn iron we have here. He glances at a pile of his work with dread. We always have plenty of tin and iron, copper lying around, so supplies aren't the problem. It's a rare smith who can churn out military-grade bronze consistently. More often than not, it comes out soft. Look around camp. We're garbing the Legion. Garbing the Legion head to toe in iron because it's cheaper and easier to produce for the masses. Couldn't do that with bronze. They call the Disfavored the Iron Legion for a reason. Strategy and skill may be our backbone, but our claws are made of iron. The good stuff that comes from the Smith and Lethian's Crossing. You mentioned an iron shortage? I'm afraid so. The last shipment sent down the Matani went missing near Echo Hall Crossing. And I'm afraid we won't be seeing any more now that the valley is sealed. Forge-bound iron is Tunon's responsibility. Why is this the first I'm hearing of it? Keep your voice down. Isotanus flinches and lowers his own. Graven Ash does not want to cause a panic or pass any information to the Vendrian Guard. Best case scenario, the iron tumbled off a boat and is rusting on a riverbed. Worst case, it ends up in enemy hands. If I find myself in Echo Call, I suppose I can keep an eye out. I appreciate that, as does the great general. More than you might guess. Maybe he isn't quick to offer his thanks to outsiders, but I know he'll be grateful for your help. It would be a boon to the war effort if our iron was recovered. You can trust me to handle this. Now, I'm here to help, even if that means cleaning up the Archons' mess. That's what I'm going to choose. Ooh. No need to salt the wound, Fatebinder. None of us is mistaken in thinking that the siege has gone exactly as planned. He glances to a crate beside him and points to a small set of notches in the wood. You see that? That is how we tell apart our iron shipments from the rest. Inconspicuous so people don't go snooping around. You'll want to keep an eye out for these. Good hunting. So small notches in the wood. An echo call crossing. That's what I'm going to look for, the shipments of iron. Got Marcus, we got Lucia. All right, I've wasted enough time. Let's go in the tent and see what these guys are talking about. Yesterday you chided me for wishing to wait. Now you suggest an even longer delay. Perhaps the voices in your skull ought to come to a consensus if you wish to be taken seriously. Good advice is flexible, changing with the moment. Oh, shit. I accidentally clicked the button.
There's 4 reports of avalanches in the mountains now. The Tearsmen can barely count past 9. They have neither the capacity nor the cause to close off the mountain passes. Either way, that leaves the 2nd and 4th cohort trapped outside the valley.
The Archon of War pounds his staff on the ground to punctuate his words. A large and imposing man to begin with, his profile is made larger still by his hulking suit of armor that hums with mystic energy.
Or it's the work of your perfidious Earthshakers. Only a fool would not suspect a traitorous Archon of poisoning the mind of his students with sedition. We would have killed the Earthshakers Guild for their master's treachery, but I'm sure you have some perfectly valid reason for allowing them to live as your pawns.
The Archon of Secrets passes a scepter between his hands as he speaks, twirling the rod in hypnotic circles. You hear the voices in your head. Hello there, Fatebinder. We'll be with you in just a moment. Emerald luminescence seeps from the seams of the Archon's ragged red robes. The glow is most notable where his neck ought to be. His mask seems to float and spin, never pivoting or bending naturally.
Hey, watch yourself. When these two get going, you don't want to get between them.
Verse whispers fearfully as she beholds the Archons. I have a couple choices to pick from. I'm going to remain silent for the moment.
I always know you've run out of things to say when you resort to mocking my vassals. If we are to speak of treachery, why is it that my scouts see the Scarlet Chorus warriors defecting back to the Vendrian Guard? Your fearsome reputation has gone flaccid, for it seems you cannot control your soldiers, or perhaps you simply choose not to.
Iron Marshal Irinos? My lords, the Fatebinder has arrived. The disfavored commander raises her voice, trying... Oh, that's a lady? The disfavored commander raises her voice, trying with little success to speak over the Archons. Perhaps we could table this discussion and let our guest speak.
Speaking of strategic failures, who was it that insisted the valley would need only a token garrison? For some strange reason, we can't seem to recall which balding halfwit grossly underestimated the enemy. Thoughts?
The Archon of Secrets twirls his scepter in a twisting loop. You hear voices in your head. Can you hear us, Fatebinder? Cough if we have your attention. His leather-wrapped hands flipping the heavy rod with effortlessly flow. Effortless flow. All right, so I hear the voices in my head and I'm going to cough audibly.
And I thought you had left agents within these tiersmen when they surrendered. Either you failed to see this coming, or you knew and let it happen. Incompetent or in cahoots, either way, this mess has your filthy stink all over it.
The Archon of War lurches forward, resting his hand on his war maul as blue luminescent crackles around his armor.
We look forward to seeing you explain to Tunon why the Archon of War could not close the vice on this trivial little insurgency. When we are crowned the ruler of the tiers, we shall have this place renamed to Ash's Folly in your honor.
Ooh, burn! The voices of Nerat tosses his scepter into the air. You hear the voices in your head. Good, good. Now pay attention. You might miss something. Catching it as it descends back down. I'm going to remain silent and pay attention.
If I could trust the information I get from you and your conscripted mouth breathers, perhaps I'd order my cohorts around a bit more aggressively. But last time I trusted your all-clear report, my troops failed to come home.
Oh, Ash, old boy. If you're going to have a little sob every time one of your nieces or nephews dies to the tiersmen, perhaps we should have Siren sing you some calming lullabies to help you cope with your grief.
And who's Siren? Siren is the Archon of Song, and the youngest Archon sent to conquer the tiers. Young and inexperienced, Siren is sworn to the voices of Nerat, who uses her powers of charm and manipulation to swell the ranks of the Scarlet Chorus with quote-unquote volunteers. The Archon flips his scepter 3 times around. You hear the voices in your head. Take care that you don't learn too much, Fatebinder. An excess of knowledge, of curiosity even, can earn unwanted attention. Humming gleefully. Iron Marshal Irinos says, "Hold your tongue. I will not have you denigrate the honor of our fallen brethren. The commander's hand moves to the hilt of her blade, though the weapon stays sheathed. I'll be doing us all a favor if I cracked open that excuse for a head." And now there's a new guy, Fifth Eye. They bicker like children, do they not? The Fifth Eye's grating tenor pierces the tension in the tent, and all eyes land on the Crimson Spear. I meant only to say, welcome to our guest, the Fatebinder. The armored retainer bows with rushed inelegance, then raises a salute, and not a moment too soon.
Did I give you permission to speak?
The Archon of War turns to you, his blue eyes wide with anger. The many portraits you've seen depict graven Ash with a stern, unamused countenance. He is even more taciturn in the flesh. I'm going to bow to the Archons and say, my apologies for the sudden entrance. I have traveled long to be here.
Ah, the Stormcaller. Conveniently late once more. Our eyes and ears tell us you come bearing an edict. The anticipation is killing us.
My soldiers tell me you helped Commander Drotus on your way through Edring. You honor the court with your selfless cooperation, for that is the sort of camaraderie that Kairos demands of us all.
On the last of his words, the Archon of War glares at the voices of Nerat, furrowing his brow as he utters the word camaraderie. I'm going to just flat out say I come bearing an edict of Kairos.
Once again, you bring us support in a time of need. We fondly remember your service to the chorus in the taking of the bastard city. We knew back then you were destined for great things. But we had not anticipated you would be twice honored with the task of proclamation. So, do not keep us waiting. What is the Overlord's will?
All right, let's see what the choices are here. I'm just gonna read through them real quick. All right. It seems like number one is just the flat out truth, and that's without embarrassing or bullying either of them. The Overlord's loyal servants must hold Ascension Hall by Kairos' Day of Swords, or all in the valley shall perish. The earth sways with each word you utter. The air thickened with warmth as you pronounce the tersely parsed commandment. Its every syllable drafted by the hand of Kairos. With the edict proclaimed, your pulse quickens and the muscles in your legs, worn from a long trip down the mountain, feel renewed. The tired limbs now nearly buoyant with vigor. Ooh.
The Overlord means to compel us into action. No doubt the avalanches in the mountains are part of this ultimatum. We must conquer the Oathbreakers or die in failure. There is no room for error, and no other way out of this valley alive. We'll need to advance across the Mittani. We lose everything if we stand still, and we move to back up Plan Green. The Earthshakers didn't make it over the mountain in time, so we do this the hard way. Over the walls instead of through.
The Archon of War taps a finger against his temple. A low rumble escapes from under his beard.
So you found your backbone at last! Oh, we were worried past humiliations would make you soft, timid. That was a record for you, right? The baker's dozen lost in one sortie. If you had waited for the chorus reinforcements, maybe we'd have eyes and ears on the matter.
The Archon of Secret passes his scepter from one hand to the next. You hear the voices in your head. Watch him squirm. So many tears over replaceable, expendable, useless soldiers. I miss the old Archon of War. You'd never see blood echo in a blubbering mess over a few dead killers. He would use the knuckle bones of his best disciple for jewelry. He would even make a breastplate out of his dead brother's... where am I? Ribcage. Because that's how a real man deals with grief. Chuckling softly with each tossed. I'm going to say, learn to work together or we're all doomed.
The Fatebinder is right. We're acting not as leaders, but as children. I've no time for your foolish japes and petty taunts. We should focus on the objective at hand, and that is taking the Mittani River, and then advancing to Ascension Hall and ending this edict.
All right. Then enough talking. There's work to be done. Iron Marshal Irano says, "My Lord Barrick, I only know him by name. He's a commander of the Stone Shields. My Lord Barrick and his band have been drilled on the Echo Call assault plan. The Crescent Runners should be briefing him as we speak regarding the latest enemy movements along the river. I will dispatch him at once." The Iron Marshal salutes, clapping her gauntlet to her breastplate. Fifth Eye says, "And I will ensure the chorus stands ready to march. If the Disfavored can take the river, the chorus has the manpower to secure the outer ring of the valley."
Our soldiers clamor for battle, and at last we shall have it. Verse, we command you to continue guarding the Fatebinder. Tunon's Chosen is our honored guest, and must be shown our finest hospitality.
I won't let you down, boss. He'll get through the campaign and win peace, as long as he doesn't do anything too stupid.
And before we forget, we have a debt to settle. Last year, when our warriors got confused about supply lines, so kind of you to understand how things get muddled in the fog of war.
The Archon of Secret tosses several iron rings your way as he begins to leave. He taps the fifth eye on his shoulder, and with one last twirl of his scepter, you hear the voices in your head. Suit yourself, Fatebinder. The more you ignore us. What? The Archon departs with his underling. You know what? I'm going to take the rings. I don't know why he's pissed at me. Huh. So I gained 300 rings. Nice. The Archon of Secrets lets out a small chuckle as he leaves.
Finally, the fool and his puppet are gone. Perhaps now I can hear myself think. Rarely do I question Kairos' judgment, but I will never understand why the voices of Narot is given such authority. I shudder to think what will become of us all should Tunon favor him in the end. Though the edict threatens the Scarlet Chorus just as it threatens us, I cannot shake the feeling that our allies will work against us. Now, if you'll leave me be, I have a battle to plan. I imagine duty requires you speak with the chorus further, but if I can convince you to lend a hand, most of my legion is trapped beyond the mountains, so I'm in need of an added sword or two. If you wish to be counted amongst the glorious, speak with the Iron Marshal. She will direct the order of battle until we are ready for the final push into the Citadel.
Iron Marshal Enrios. I am short a few scouts, short a few soldiers, short a few everything. I'm sure my brethren would be grateful for the assistance of a skilled outsider. And what of the Scarlet Chorus? How will they be helping?
I ask myself that question often. While we take the river crossing, the Scarlet Chorus should be using their sizable presence to remove the Oathbreaker patrols lurking in the outer valley.
Iron Marshal Enrio says, the Oathbreakers have maintained a sizable force outside the Citadel. We need the Chorus's manpower to scour the region, otherwise the Oathbreakers will attack our heels once we're across the Matani. I guess I'll help them. That's all I can seem to do, or just glare at them. I would be honored to help. The Iron Marshal salutes Graven Ash, then turns to leave the tent. I will be at the training grounds, readying the soldiers. Find me there when you are ready. She pauses, clearing her throat. And though I am loath to mention it, the chorus can likely use your assistance. They certainly won't secure the outer valley on their own. Fifth Eye will be somewhere in that rat's nest they call a camp due east. Seek him out if you must. Now that you have delivered the words of Kairos' edict to the armies, the time remaining until Kairos' Day of Swords appears next to the current date on the navigation bar. The terms of Kairos' edict must be met by this date or everyone in Vendrian's Well will die. So it looks like I have 8 days. That is not many days.
Sorry, I can't.
All right, so we got our mission now. Everyone knows about the edict, and we're going to assault the something or other. I forgot what the name of it was called. Ascension's Gate or something. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Anyway, I'm going to end this episode here and take a little break, and then we'll go on that mission next time. Maybe see what the Scarlet Chorus wants and stuff like that. So, for now, I'm signing off. Bye.